Hello, James. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
All right, you've had your haircut.
No, I'm wearing a jumper, mate. Or I don't know, mate. I've not had my haircut. No, I've been out and about, so maybe I've just got that glow. Do you know what I mean? I was out and about for a nice little. Well, I wasn't walking, but my son was walking a dog, so maybe I just look stunning because of the sun.
Yeah, yeah. Women love him, men want to be him, eh?
Defo, defo. I tell you what, there ain't many men are going to be pissed off with seeing me. I'm everywhere in a minute. I'm like shit in a field, aren't I? I've
You're
been,
all over the place, mate. You know what it is, mate? It's your remap wheelchair.
I know, it's easy, isn't it? It's like easy to teleport. I'm everywhere, aren't I? So I do apologise if everyone's getting sick of the sight of me. I'm like the new Barry Jones.
You like the new Big Malk?
I know, yeah. Fucking no, my bins ain't as impressive as his, mate. I tell you.
Hey, do you know Big Malk? What's his job now in boxing? Do you know? Because people keep asking me. I know he's on benefits and that, but what is his role in
Um,
boxing? Is he finished now?
I think he's a chief bumhole licker, mate. Definitely. He's just looking for a way in, isn't he?
Yeah,
Fluffer.
yeah,
Fluffer to Irish gangsters. That's what he is. Just massaging their egos.
hey,
He's a fluffer to Irish gangsters. Just sits there massaging their egos for a job. That's what he does.
oh, Big Malk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they're down at way now, aren't they? So where's he going to get a meal ticket from now, Big Malk?
I know, I know.
Is that why
This
he's
is the
on
thing.
benefits?
Yeah, that's why he's wearing the impressive bins because you got to give the impression, ain't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like Del Boy always used to say, if you're struggling. No, it was David Brent actually that said, if you're struggling, a struggling salesman doesn't turn up in a crap car, does he? He turns up in an even better one. So that's why he's wearing these designer vagina shades. You know what I mean? Because he wants to be seen as big and impressive.
Well, Big Malk with his giant bins, eh? Old Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm
Let's
X.
get on to more important things than Big Malk's UB40 form he's got to fill in. Right, why are Talksport, James, constantly pushing Joshua and Fury? This is from Jonathan, by the way. When we are all we've been fed is that for the last 14 years since this sparred. Why do they keep going back to that when there's no happening with heavyweight division? Because it's a mess in it.
Yeah, it is a mess. It is a mess. I wish they'd just leave it alone. I was the same with Kell Brook and Khan. I wasn't interested in that fight by
They
the
want you
time it
up,
came
want
on.
you up for that, James? No.
No, I weren't up for that. No, because it was dead in the water. They've both been beat. I mean, I said, last week, I'm just not interested in fights where there's no meaning. When there's not a meaning to them, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? You're getting your brains beat for what? Like, yeah, there's money involved, but we're constantly told all the time fighters want legacy and they want to go down in the history books and all that. Well, fighting a faded version of Anthony Joshua or fighting a Fury that basically left his soul in the ring against Deontay Wilder, what does that do to your legacy? It does nothing. So, no interest in the fight whatsoever. And the reason why we are constantly being told that it's the fight we want is because people stand to make a lot of money out of it, don't they? People like Eddie Hearn who just wants to cash out. Hills just wants to cash out. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Bricktop wants to cash him out, and everybody in the little nucleus around them, oh, is going to stand to make a few quid if that fight happens. So we're told that we're interested in it. We're told we want it, and the people that aren't sheep, like the likes of me and you, and the people that watch this channel, they know it's bullshit and they don't want it. So there's your answer. Sorry it took me so long.
Yeah. Do you think the general public want Fury Joshua, James?
No, not by the looks of it. I think they've had their fill of Joshua as well because there's been all that talk in the last couple of weeks, isn't there, about him fighting Dubois, um, or and getting a world title shot. And people were just like, what has he done to deserve it? He's done nothing.
Yeah,
So
but
I
he
think
had
they've
a,
just had enough.
rematch clause, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a rematch clause, but they don't seem to be just talking about the rematch, though. They're talking about the world title per se, saying that he deserves a world title shot. Now, whether that comes against Dubois or comes against Usyk, I don't think they're particularly bothered. But the point I'm making is the public have had enough. He's yesterday's man, Anthony Joshua, and I think they just want to see the newbies coming. You know what I mean? People like Fabio Wardley are more deserving. Moses Atalma, I think he's more deserving. Not maybe of a world title shot, but more deserving of a platform because he's rising at the moment. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's just yesterday's news, Anthony Joshua. Not interested.
Yeah, yeah, he is just in his nose, and it's like we're like airborne repeaters, aren't we? He's been absolutely spoon fed, hasn't he?
Yep, he
From
has.
day one, though, James, hasn't it? Really,
Yeah,
from Dylan White, they got Dylan White after a 2 year layoff, didn't they? The first
yep,
time he got White, because White knocked him out in amateurs, didn't he? So they had edge on that. He didn't have no momentum. I know White didn't do very good in fight anyway. And then who other one he had a close one with? Vladimir,
Klitschko. Klitschko was meant to be a gimme,
life and
like
death.
yeah, but it went wrong for him, didn't it? And I'm not for 1 second saying it weren't an entertaining fight because it was, but I was gutted on the night because I actually had Klitschko winning that in the 11th round,
Yeah,
and he went
well,
the other way, didn't
James,
it? It's
that were
what?
April 17 when I April 25. So that's 8 years ago. Since
Yep,
then, Joshua has basically been spoon fed, hasn't he? You think he's
yep.
been wrapped in cotton wool?
He definitely has. He definitely has. I think it's because he's never really, other than the version of Anthony Joshua that I used to enjoy watching. You know, like we joke about Ben and call him Crusher and all that. Joshua was the original Crusher. He was entertaining on the way up. Like he was destroying people. And then when he got caught on the chin against Klitschko, after that, he was sort of in between styles. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know whether to be offensive to neutralize the threat or just get on his bike or, sit there with his hands up like Callum Smith. He didn't know what to do. Um, and I think since that, the Klitschko fight is what done him, and that's why they had to wrap him up in cotton wool because it's like, well, what? And Andy Ruiz just put the cherry on top of the cake, really, didn't he?
Okay, then let me just tell you who he's beat since Klitschko.
Go on.
We all agree that the Klitschko fighters were Matchroom decided to start wrapping him in cotton wool because they were going for Wilder, and everybody wanted after
Yeah,
Klitschko.
yeah.
Once he had a life and death with a man in his 42nd year, right? 42nd year, right?
Yeah.
So once you've had a life and death with that man, he's went for Takam, Parker with WBO, IBO, and IBF. So that were like a unification job.
Hmm.
Parker got that belt by default, and I thought Ruiz beat him. Takam, I thought that were a terrible stoppage, the Takam
Yeah,
one.
it was.
Parker was a stinker. Povetkin an old man, and he gave him problems. Ruiz flattened him.
Hmm.
Ruiz were a fat man in the second one. Pulev an old man. It took till 1 second before end at ninth.
I know.
A full 9 rounds there. Usyk done him twice. Franklin crap, Elenius crap, Walling crap, and Garno in his second fight and flattened by Devar. So
Yep.
basically, the bubble burst when he fought Vladimir 8 years ago. Since then, he's gone 10-4.
Yeah.
Without them 10-4, Parker was a champion. Uh,
Ruiz.
but that's it, basically. All he's beat Parker, but Ruiz were a champion after he beat him.
Yeah.
Pulev
After he beat him.
were a champion down the line, a regular, and Povetkin a former regular. And
Hmm.
Parker got his belt by default, didn't he? A paper champion. So basically, We've got former regulars, former regulars in Povetkin and old men, future regulars, regular champions in Pulev, a fat man Andy Ruiz that flattened him in fight before, and Parker that will go his belt by email. Well,
See,
he fought for vacant, didn't he, basically? But
yeah, that's the thing, though, Russ. You've just said there about the regular, right? The regular WBA and all that. So you're telling me now you don't give the WBA regular credence.
of course I do, yeah. I do give it. It's still a world
You
title, isn't
do.
it? It's but there's still an interim one below it, isn't there, James?
Well, yeah. Well, see, I was gonna
See, the
sort of
IBF, they're in an interim below it, is that it's interim or
no.
full.
See,
Whereas the
I was gonna,
go on.
I was, I was gonna beat you around the head with that comment. You see, because
No.
you were giving it credibility when last week when you was talking about Fabio Wardley and if he wins it, and I thought you were
Oh, I
belittling the
was
belt
saying
then.
it's
So I
a
was like,
good win. Listen, mate, you're talking over me and you're trying to split hairs with me, you dickhead. Right, let me just
that's
say
what I'm here
this.
for. Cool.
Fabio Wardley, right? He's come from white collar. If we see he gets a WBA regular, I'm gonna fucking get behind him because he's come from white collar. Because
Yeah,
every
same
time
here.
he fights, we're all saying, he's going to get beat, he's going to get beat. A bit like Josh Warrington, we all kept saying, oh, he'll get found out in the next one. He'll get found in the next one. So stop being a cock.
Well, I'm just being consistent.
No, you're not being consistent. You're trying to be a cock, James, you cock. You know what I mean? You fucking tool.
All right.
But no, I see where you're coming from with that. Look, Scott Quigg's a regular champion, and there's no wrong with regular champions, but they're not the best in the division, are they?
No, but that's what I'm saying. How can
Yeah.
you have, and this is where we go down another route, right? How can you have more than one world
I
champion
know,
of
mate.
the
I know.
same
Well, why don't we
organisation?
just have one world champion for it all then? Instead
Yeah,
of
we
like
should.
five world champions for five organisations, plus a
We
ring
should.
magazine. I mean, Joe
Yeah,
Calzaghe were at an evening with other night, and he's telling people that he were a light heavyweight champion at World. He weren't.
they weren't.
He weren't a ring heavyweight. He had a ring belt, didn't he? Of Bernard Hopkins, who were a part owner at Ring Magazine. That's like
Yeah,
uh, that's like Nick Ball now with his last purse money buying a piece at Beano Comic, right?
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah,
And getting rid
yeah.
of his IBF or whatever belt he's got and saying, all right, who wants to fight me for Beano Comic? There you go. Oh, you've just beat me. You're now a world champion. It's a load of
Yeah,
shit.
but that's the point I'm making though, Russ. You know what I mean? I don't give credence to all these fucking belts. I think the best thing Turkey is doing, hopefully if everything comes to fruition, the best thing Turkey can do is just bin them.
Yeah,
And we just
James.
have Ring
Yeah.
Magazine.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. But you know what I want to see, right? You know what?
Go
I
on.
always go on about how they should just leave Usyk with his belts and stop chipping away at his trying to get his belts from. Nobody was trying to chip away at Vladimir when he had him all, did he? Because
No?
he had RTL TV behind him in Germany, didn't he? Vladimir.
Yeah,
Nobody wanted to rock Vladimir's little boat, did they? But they all
no.
want to rock Usyk's and take his IBF off him and now they're chipping away at the WBO because Bricktop wants to stay in mix. And I were one of them people that said they should leave all them belts for Usyk. But I've come to a conclusion now with these belts that do what you want with them. The fans know Usyk's the main man, James, don't we?
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do.
We
And
agree with
I've
that,
said it.
don't we?
Yeah, I love Usyk. I ain't gonna hear a bad word said against him. He's phenomenal. So yeah, I mean that's where I don't disagree with you being supportive and all that, Russ. I'm very anti belts. I think the belts are just a load of shite. They are literally right. The
Yeah,
WBC it's gangsterism. It's just a gangster family.
yeah,
Solomon, he's unelected, right? A lot of them are just the positions passed down. There's no elections or anything like that. That's gangsterism. Same happens in the mafia. So I'm not interested in the belts really. The Ring magazine's the one true one. And if Turkey gets his arse in gear and does what we all want him to do, then we'll see boxing transform for the better. You know?
yeah. We will,
Yeah.
we will. It's well, that's what we want in it, really. We want rid of all these. Like, I mean, want something like 114 world champions at one point.
So,
or
something like that.
out of the when really in olden days there'd be seven, wouldn't there?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And
So what we now got 20 for every organisation or something. Oh,
yes, something like that. And boxing was it was talked about when everybody knew who the world heavyweight champion was. Everybody knew who the world middleweight champion was. They were household names. You go down the street, and even the most hardcore fan, like they couldn't name all the belt holders, could they? So that to me tells me it's bullshit. But it's weird because I do agree partly with what you're saying about Wardley. But that's because Wardley's come from a place where, like you said, we didn't expect him to do anything. So we are cheering him on. He could win a WBU, and you'd think, oh, that's brilliant, that mate. Well done. You know what I mean? But that's like me, sitting in my remat wheelchair. I get up and I take a step. Do you know what I mean? I take a step forward when I'm not supposed to walk, and then going, oh, you know what? You're a legitimate walking champion of the world. Well, no, I'm not. I've taken one step. It's just not. I know
yeah.
it's a bit of a weird analogy, but do you know what I mean? Yeah, it just pisses me off.
He's still going out with that bird.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
James, you're getting through 'em quick, aren't you?
I know, yeah. I know. I was talking to that other one, wasn't I, with the big breasticles, but yeah,
Hey,
that didn't work out.
what? God, it's a family show.
Oh yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah.
Don't worry about
Um
it.
yeah,
So, so
I'm a
what
male.
happened to her from Barnsley?
I told you she was too. Well, you don't want to start me on that because I got called a narcissist, didn't I, the other week? Like she wanted to meet me son, like after one date. I'm like, nah, it's not happening. Do you know what I
What's up
mean?
with that? Like, it's not that, man. Just let me meet him.
Well, I don't know, mate. It's just a
Oh,
bit.
God, like you've got, like spoilt for choice, aren't you?
I know, yeah, I know. Women love me, men want to be me, don't they? They
And
only
now
want
they
their
want to, they want to get that remap wheelchair off you and your Adidas Gazelles.
and the pip,
The
the
Pip.
pip.
Do you get a
Yeah, they want
nice
the pip.
car on Pip, James?
I don't because I get the money. Bloody hell, the taxman might be watching this. Jeez.
Go on, lad.
I'm like Brian
Okay,
Parr.
then. Right. Chisora's number one for IBF. Juggies pushing it this morning on Talksport, saying uh, he deserves this Dubois shot if he can get it because he's beat Pulev and Walling.
Yeah, absolute joke. See, this is why we're on here week after week talking about the media because what they're doing is disgusting because they're basically he's turning around and I haven't seen that interview. I'm probably going to catch it soon, right? But like I always say about boxing, we're not talking about men who are going to lose a yard of pace. We're not talking about an American footballer, a quarterback who can't throw as far. We're talking about people getting punched in the head. Nobody should be, nobody at all should be calling for Derek Chisora to fight anywhere near the top level because it's akin to attempted murder. If he goes in there with Dubois and Dubois is anything approaching peak condition, Derek Chisora is in serious trouble. But it's all right because everybody wants to make a few quid. It's disgusting. You're leading a lamb to the slaughter, And I sit there and I talk about Pip and I talk about wheelchairs and that. It's a very real possibility if he gets in the ring with Dubois. And to be honest, it's embarrassing if Dubois gets in a ring with him and finds that a credible win. It's an absolute embarrassment. Jargers doesn't deserve his position on Talksport. The amount of crap he comes out with, and that's probably the biggest line. How the hell does he deserve that? He doesn't.
Kent's just sent me some. He's saying that Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan are going to be fighting in August.
Well, there you go. There you go. We could just keep it going, couldn't we, Ross? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
well,
a joke.
there's no on box rec. Uh,
Well, it shouldn't be because it's not a credible contest. The only way them two men should be fighting if they want to fight is with fifth. Well,
check your phone there. Check your phone there. Have you seen that from the zone?
yeah, well, I'll have a look now. One sec.
Pay-per-view on DAZN, O2 Arena, London, August 2025.
Jesus Christ.
Manny
That's
Pacquiao
terrible.
against Amir Khan. Fucking hell, man.
I know. I know.
How can that be, man? How can they be fighting Manny Pacquiao? Are they going to sell that Amir Khan sparred him when he went to live in America? Is that it?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. But I'm
He's
surprised Ben
older than me,
Shalom's.
Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Ben Shalom's not in the mix to put that on, let alone be on his own. The home of boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute disgrace.
Dead
I thought
zone.
we, yeah. Well, I thought we had all the money coming in. I thought that we could say bye to all of these, like absolutely, rubbish mismatches. All right, people slag off Jake Paul, but Jake Paul is what he is. Do you know what I
We're
mean?
going to go
And
on to part two, James, and we'll continue it on that.
I
Yeah?
will, I will, mate.
We'll
All right,
see
no
you on
problem.
part two. Don't forget to subscribe and do as the pork says. Pop, pop, bang.